Dear ESE aspirant, welcome to ESE Online, digital platform of ESE Engineering Academy. So we, Mechanical Engineering faculty from ESE Engineering Academy, would like to present the detailed solution for ESE 2026 Prelims Mechanical Engineering paper. So coming to the weightage analysis, so production 11 questions are there. From maintenance, there are 2 questions. Now coming to thermal engineering, so let us know from the Malakunde sir, subject expert from thermal engineering. So how many questions are there?
Yes, sir. Total 35 questions came from thermal stream. All questions are very, very easy. All questions are straightforward. From heat transfer, 7 questions are asked. They are also very easy.
So coming to next design stream. So Dharan sir will speak about design stream, particularly mechanics, strength of metals, as well as machine design, theory of machines.
So mechanics, we have got 4 questions, strength of metals 9 questions, and theory of machines 12 and machine design 13. So these questions are generally on a scale of easy to high. So they are easy to moderate. So very theoretical. So there are no much problematic problems. It is very easy according to me.
Yeah, coming to fluid mechanics, this time it seems more weightage in fluid mechanics, and why sir is going to talk about fluid mechanics. Sir, what about fluid?
Sir, this year fluid mechanics and hydraulic machines together, they have asked 21 questions.
Yeah.
And the level of questions is somewhere between easy to moderate. And the questions could be attempted very easily. Anybody who is having the basic understanding of the subject and the concepts, anyone who has done very well. So it will be quite easy for them.
Yeah, coming to metals and renewable energy sources, Madhu sir is going to talk about renewable energy sources. What about Madhu?
Renewable energy, from renewable energy, 12 questions they asked, and all the questions are very easy, basic questions. There is no numerical, all are theory questions. From the material science, they asked some 13 questions. All the questions are very easy, basic fundamentals they asked.
Renewable energy sources.
Renewable energy, 12 questions, easy, very easy questions.
Yeah, coming to robotics and maybe mechatronics. This time I think mechatronics, like a subject expert, will talk about this.
Sir, nearly 11 questions are came, and most of the questions from the mechatronics only, and 4 questions are from the robotics as came. So all are fundamental questions, and the same thing we were discussed in the classroom also. This, so who are attempted, so they can easily might be attempted.
So compared to last time, this year the paper is somewhat easy. Maybe you may expect 60 to 70%. That means out of 150 questions, you are able to answer 110 or 120. You can get a decent score. Okay, so we wish you all the best, and we'll soon. We are going to start detailed solution for this mechanical engineering prelims paper.
Right. So now I'm going to discuss about renewable energy questions. Here is a question from the solar photovoltaic cell applications. Now see here, the statement 1, solar PV systems convert solar energy directly into electrical energy. So this is correct. And the second statement, you can take the second statement. Solar cell is basically an electronical current source driven by a flux of radiation, correct? The efficiency of solar cell is more than 50%. This is not correct actually. Efficiency is less than 20 or 25%. So that the statement 3 is correct, incorrect. So 1 and 2 are correct. So A is the correct option for this question. Now the next question here, consider the following statements regarding geothermal energy. See, as per US Geological Survey, the entire heat content of the earth crust up to a depth of 2 km above 20 degrees Celsius is defined as geothermal resource. It is correct. Geothermal energy is considered an inexhaustible and renewable source. Yes, it is an renewable energy source. Geothermal energy is available in low-grade thermal energy form on the surface of the earth. So here all the three statements are correct. So answer for this question is D. But sometimes you may get some doubt here. Inexhaustible, because geothermal energy sometimes it is exhaustible, because in a same location after usage of some time it is going to be exhausted, but mostly inexhaustible. Okay, now right? So I'm going with 1, 2, 3. D is the correct. High temperature collectors concentrate sunlight using mirrors or lenses are generally used for. See, generally high temperature collectors like parabolic dish, okay, parabolic dish, central tower, all these things are used for power generation, electrical power generation. So C is the correct answer for this question. C is the correct answer. Now, how much electricity consumption can be cut back with the installation of solar flat plate collectors in any household instead of power grid geysers? So instead of using power grids, if I use a solar flat plate collector, we can reduce approximately 20% of power consumption. We can reduce approximately 20% of power consumption. So A is the correct answer. Now, if the lifetime of the solar power plant and the interest rate is known, then the cost per kilowatt hour can be calculated and is known as, that we call it as a levelized energy cost. A is the correct answer. Next, operational energy footprint in solar thermal energy is also called energy parasitics ratio. Energy parasitic ratio is nothing but energy used for different auxiliary units by the total energy used. C is the correct answer. Now, consider the following statements regarding solar trackers. See, the solar tracker is a generic term used to describe devices that orient various payload towards the sun. Yes, it is correct. Payloads can be photovoltaic panels, reflectors, lenses, or other optical device. So remember, this sentence is correct, but this sentence is not related to solar tracker. Okay, na? So this may not be correct option for the question. In flat plate photovoltaic applications, trackers are used to maximize the angle of incidence between the incoming light and a photovoltaic panel. So this is correct. So I can say 1 and 3 are correct. So B is the correct option for this question. Statement is correct, but is not related to solar trackers. Consider the following statements regarding photovoltaic cells. A photovoltaic cells are made of at least 2 layers of semiconductor materials. Yes, photovoltaic cell has 2 semiconductors like PN junction, and when 2 modules are wired in parallel, their current remains constant while the voltage varies. See, for a parallel system, current is increases and voltage is constant. For this, voltage is constant, current is changes. Current is not constant. So that second statement is wrong. So that first statement is only right. So that A is the correct answer for this question. Next, the performance of photovoltaic modules and arrays under standard testing conditions. See, under standard testing condition, the operating temperature is actually 25 degrees Celsius. But in these 4 options, there is no option. So 25 degrees Celsius is the correct answer for this question. Now, consider the following statements regarding the basic features that characterize lift and drag. Drag is in the direction of airflow. Lift is perpendicular to the direction of airflow. Lift devices are generally less efficient than drag devices. So, all the 3 statements are correct. So, D is the correct option for this question. Now, Biomass gasification means incomplete combustion of biomass resulting in production of combustible gases, consists of carbon monoxide, hydrogen and traces of methane. This mixture is called a producer gas. So A is the correct answer for this question. Right? The formula for the speed of a tidal wave in a sea of uniform depth is obtained from. See, they are asking a speed. Speed is nothing but velocity. Out of these, if you match the units, only first is going to be matched. So that A is the correct answer for this question. A is the correct answer for this question. Now, this question is related to the fuel cell. Okay, a fuel cell is a device that converts the chemical energy from a fuel into electricity through a chemical reaction with oxygen or another oxidizing agent. So this statement is correct. Hydrogen is the most common fuel, but hydrocarbons such as natural gas and alcohols like methanol are sometimes used, correct? And electrons are drawn from cathode. Here one important thing, drawn from anode to the cathode actually. Electrons are drawn from anode to the cathode, not cathode to the anode. So this statement is not correct. So 1 and 2 are correct. So A is the correct answer for this question. Next, consider the following statement regarding the stress strain curve. This is related to the material science. From the material science, some 13 questions they asked. They are very easy questions. Now, limit of proportionality is the limiting value of a stress up to which stress is proportional to strain. That is Hooke's law. It is correct. Here, the second point is given. Upper yield point is the stage at which the stress remains same but the strain increases. See, remember, if I consider the stress strain curve, okay, this is the lower yield point. At lower yield point, stress remains constant, but strain is present, not at the upper yield point. So that second statement is not correct actually. So this is not correct, and third point it is correct. So I can say that 1 and 3 are the correct for this question. Okay, right. Now, which of the following step are utilized in the determination of three-dimensional indices in crystallographic directions? See, it is the question related to the crystallographic direction. A vector of convenient length is positioned such that it passes through the origin of a coordinate system. Any vector is translated throughout the crystal lattice without alteration if parallelism is maintained. So this statement is correct. And the second statement, the length of the vector projection on each of the three axes is determined. These are measured in terms of unit cell dimensions ABC. So both statements are correct. So for this, option D is the correct answer for this question. Now, in which type of a bonding are the stable electronic configurations assumed by the sharing of electrons? See, sharing of electrons, this keyword is related to the covalent bond. So sharing of electron is covalent bond. B is the answer. The ratio of volume of atoms in a unit cell to the total volume of unit cell is nothing but atomic packing factor. So A is the correct answer for this question. Basic definition this is. The atomic packing factor for a face-centered cubic crystal is 0.74. That is standard value. You should remember D is the correct answer for this question. Now this is the question related to static data. That means you have to remember the atomic radius of tungsten, cadmium and nickel. It's very impossible. So, but here if you consider the radius of tungsten correct, cadmium correct and nickel is also correct. So answer for this question is D. Answer for this question is D. All the statements are correct. Now, consider the following statements about atomic crystal structure. See, zinc is a HCP structure, not FCC structure. Zinc is HCP structure. So first statement is not correct. Lead is FCC structure. Cobalt is HCP structure. So 2 and 3 are the correct. So that C is the correct answer for this question. Okay. Now, consider the following statements regarding perlite. Perlite is a microstructural mixture of cementite and ferrite. So this is correct. Fine perlite is harder and stronger than coarse perlite. This is right. Coarse perlite is more ductile and fine than fine perlite. This is also correct. So answer for this question is D. D is the correct answer because all the three statements are correct. Now, consider the following statements regarding anelasticity. Anelasticity is a time-dependent elastic behavior actually. But here, It is given time independent elastic behavior is known as an elasticity. It is wrong. Okay. It is ideal elastic behavior. So time independent is wrong. So third statement is wrong. In an elasticity, deformation will continue after the stress application and upon load release, some finite time required to complete recovery. It is correct. Okay, it is correct. So that we can say B is the correct answer for this question. B is the correct answer for this question. Now this question is related to ductility and brittleness. Ductility is a measure of degree of the plastic deformation that has been sustained at a fracture. So up to the fracture, what is the plastic deformation? We call this a ductility. The material that experiences a very little or no plastic deformation is known as a brittle. Exactly correct. Brittleness is expressed quantitatively as either percentage elongation or percentage reduction in area. This is not correct. Ductility is measured by considering percentage elongation and reduction in area. So D is not correct. So answer for this question is B. B is the correct answer for this question. B is the correct answer for this question. Consider the following statements regarding corrosion. Corrosion. Okay, now corrosion is defined as the destructive and unintentional attack of a metal. That is correct. For metallic materials, the corrosion process is normally electrochemical. Yes. Metal atoms characteristically give up electrons in deoxidation reaction. It is absolutely wrong. It is not deoxidation, it is oxidation reaction. Metal release electrons in the oxidation process. So third statement is not correct. So 1 and 2 are correct. So answer is for this question is B. Okay. Now this is a very easy question. This is also related to corrosion. Here 3 statements here given. First statement is absolutely wrong. Seawater is generally less corrosive. It is absolutely wrong. So that I can go with 2 and 3. So C is the correct option for this question. C is the correct option for this question. Now, another question is related to corrosion prevention methods. See, corrosion prevention here, one of the most effective means of corrosion prevention is cathodic protection. It is correct. Inhibitors are normally used in closed systems such as automobile radiators. Yes. Physical barriers to corrosion are applied on surface in the form of films and coatings and paintings. So all the 3 statements are correct. So D is the correct answer for this question. All the 3 statements are correct. D is the correct answer for this question. Now, the another subject is from production. Now here, consider the following statements regarding types of cutting fluids here. So here the first statement is correct. First statement is correct. And the second statement is not correct. Actually, emulsions are used for high temperature at a high speed operation. So this is not correct. So 1 and 3 are the correct option. 1 and 3 are the correct. So C is the correct answer for this question. C is the correct option for this question. Consider the following statements regarding machine cell design. Single machine cell consists of one machine supporting fixtures and tooling. Yes. Group machine cell with a manual handling includes more than one machine to process one or more part families. Flexible manufacturing system combines automated processing stations with a fully integrated handling system. So all the 3 statements are correct. So D is the correct option for this question. Now, consider the following statements regarding metal casting process and equipment. See here, if you observe carefully, the third statement you can see here, sand mold consists of 50% of sand is not correct. Nearly 70% of sand, 70 to 80% of sand. Clay is some 10 to 20% of sand. Water is only 3 to 6% of sand. That's why third statement is absolutely wrong. So only 1 and 2 are correct. So A is the correct answer for this question. A is the correct answer for this question. Now, consider the following statements regarding sand casting here. Here, typical applications of sand casting includes large turbine impellers and propellers. Most sand casting operations use silica sand as the mold material, correct? Sand having fine round grains can be packed closely and thus forms a smooth surface finish. So all the 3 statements are correct. So answer for this question is D, right? Now, consider the following statements regarding techniques for the strengthening and annealing of glass. See, in thermal tempering process, the surface of a hot glass are cooled rapidly by a blast air. Yes. And the high temperature, the higher of the coefficient of thermal expansion of glass and higher is thermal conductivity, the lower will be the level of residual stresses developed. Hence, the weaker the glass becomes. Okay, this is actually not correct actually. Second statement, because of high amount of energy stored in residual stresses, tempered glass shatters into a large number of pieces when broken. Yes, correct. So here 1 and 3 are correct, so C is the correct answer for this question. Now, consider the following statements regarding moles in sand casting. See here, first statement is absolutely wrong because drag is on top here. Cope is at the top and drag is at the bottom. So this is wrong. So 2 and 3 are correct. So B is the correct answer for this question. B is the correct answer for this question. Here, the question is related to cutting process. Here, in this case, end milling process, the cutting tool moves radially. It is not correct. Okay, perpendicular to the axis of the workpiece. End milling process cut perpendicular to the axis of the workpiece. So this statement is not correct. So A is the correct option for this question. Remaining two statements are correct. Only third statement is wrong. Right? Which one of the following process is used to reduce vibration and chatter in the machining operation? Damping process we are used to reduce the vibration and chatter in the machining operation. Then regarding sawing, here friction sawing process is suitable for non-ferrous metals is wrong. Okay, friction sawing process is suitable for ferrous materials. So that 3 is wrong. So A is the correct option. 1 and 2, A is the correct option for this question. Right, so these are the questions from material science, renewable energy and production. Thank you. Next, our colleague faculty member will continue.
Let's solve questions from machine design. So very simple questions, very easy questions we have got from the subject. So here it is given the relation between endurance strength and endurance ultimate tensile strength. We can notice that for mild steel the relation is SE is equal to 0.5 times SUT. For cast steel it is little less than mild steel, which is considered to be 40% of SUT. Cast iron it is generally less than steel. We can consider this to be the answer. So the answer here is 1, 2, 3, which is nothing but B. Okay, moving to the next one. When designing machine parts, it is designed. So here he is asking us to identify. It is desirable to keep the stress lower than the maximum stress at which failure of the material takes place. So whenever we are trying to prevent, we are trying to keep the stress lesser than the capacity, we generally call it as working stress or design stress or allowable stress. These values can become equal to either yield stress or ultimate stress. From the options given, I can notice that the answer here is working stress. It is either considered as working stress or allowable stress or design stress. Kindly understand this point. The maximum principal stress is given as sigma T1, and here sigma Yt is given. So the relation between principal stress and sigma Yt is sigma Yt by factor of safety. Sigma 1 is equal to SYT by factor of safety. Okay, which is A. What is the type of theory in which the failure of yielding occurs at a point? So here he is considering strain energy per unit volume, which means it is which theory? Higgs theory. So if that is principal stress, Rankine theory, shear stress, it is Tresca theory. And if that is strain energy, or if that is principal strain, it is Saint-Venant's theory. As it is strain energy, we consider that to be Higgs theory. And whereas when it is distortion energy, we consider that to be von Mises theory. Consider the following statements regarding stress concentration. Here in this case, it is said that the maximum stress occurs at some point in the fillet. Whenever we are considering a fillet, let me show you the simple case. So when we are considering a fillet, okay, at the point of, so at one point on the fillet, the stress becomes maximum. The first statement here which is given is right. The stress concentration is present generally when there are fillets, keyway splines. This is also right. In a member with different cross section under tensile strength, see here he is saying that there is change in cross section. Whenever there is change in cross section, at minimum cross section we have more stress concentration, and the stress will be more at the edges. So this is, the third statement is also right. So the answer for this question is 1, 2 and 3. Okay, moving to the next one. Consider the following statements regarding factors to be considered while designing machine parts to avoid fatigue. So to prevent fatigue or to increase the fatigue failure, so we can notice that the variation, so the cross section should be, the variations in cross section should be very gradual. So the first statement which says, it says that it should be gradual, which is right. The holes and notches, which means it should be free from defects. The residual tensile stresses, which is wrong. It should have residual compressive stresses so that the fatigue life will become more. So the third option is wrong. So the answer here is A. A double riveted, double cover butt joint. So here he has given the thickness is 20 and width is, diameter is given as 25 and pitch is given as 100 mm. The permissible stress in tension is given as 120 megapascal. What is the tearing resistance? So the tearing strength Ft can be considered equal to SYT into P minus DH into T. So SYT is given as 120. Diameter is given as 25. Sorry. So pitch here is given as 100 minus 25. Into thickness is 20. If you do this simple calculation, we are getting this as 180 into 10 cube newtons. So the answer here is A. Here consider the following statements. Here he is asking us to consider bolt and nut, the relation between bolt and nut. When bolt and nut are made of same material, the size of nut will become equal to the nominal diameter of the bolt. When the material is different, in case of different material, if the material that we are using for the nut is weaker, then the height of nut should be larger. But in the second statement, it is said that if the nut is made weaker than the bolt, then the height of the nut should be smaller. This is the wrong statement. If this is wrong, and here 1 and 2 are right, 1 and 3 are right, the answer here is B. A line shaft rotating at 200 rpm. Here he is asking us to identify what is the torque transmitted. We know that the equation for torque transmitted T is nothing but equal to 60 P by 2 pi n. Power is given as 20 kilowatts, 10 cube, divided by 2 pi into 200. So 200 ones are, okay, this ones are, tens are. So 1 and 3, this is 3 by pi into 10 power 3 Newton meter. So the answer here is 3 by pi kilonewton meter. 3 by pi kilonewton meter. It is not pi by 3. The answer is D here. So consider the following statements regarding beam strength. Here you can notice that the third statement which is given is wrong. Whenever we are trying to consider Levy's equation, there is only one teeth which is considered to be in point of contact. But here it says that there are more than one teeth which is in contact. So the third statement is wrong. 1 and 2 are right. So the answer here is A. Consider the following statements here. So even here in this case, the first statement he says that there is a limitation to the temperature that he's saying in the first statement, so which is wrong, and 2 and 3 all right. So the answer here is C. For a single row deep groove ball bearing with a radial load, this is very easy one, very easy question. So here he gave the life, he's asking us to find the life in hours. He said that it is operated for 10 hours in a day, and there are 300 days in a year, and it is operated like that for 5 years. So here if you notice, so the answer comes out as 15,000 hours. Okay, the answer here is C. Okay, so what type of clutch are frequently used to sprocket wheels as well as gears and pulleys? See, for holding these gears and pulleys, we majorly require, so in case of continuous mesh type gearbox, for holding, for engaging these gears, we make use of positive clutch. So I can say that for engaging these elements, we generally make use of positive clutches, which is nothing but jaw clutch. We don't make use of these for engaging of these elements. So the answer here is A. These are the questions that we have got from machine design. These are generally very simple in nature. I hope you have performed well in the examination. I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Hi students. Now let us discuss the questions from thermodynamics. This time very easy questions asked. Look at the very first question. The correct expression for the air standard efficiency of Otto cycle. Otto cycle efficiency equal to 1 minus 1 by RC power gamma minus 1. That is the option D. Option D is absolutely correct. Look at the second one. Which one of the following models assumes that each mixture component behaves as an ideal gas as if it is existed separately at the pressure P and temperature of the mixture is by Dalton's model. Option A is absolutely correct. Similarly, with increase in pressure ratio, the isentropic efficiency of compressor and turbine. With increase in pressure ratio, the turbine efficiency decreases, but compressor efficiency increases. Option D is absolutely correct. Similarly, look at the other one. Consider the following statements regarding pumps and compressors. High pressure multi-stage centrifugal pumps and compressors are widely used in petrochemical industry. Absolutely correct. Centrifugal compressors and pumps can be used for petrochemical industry. Industrial furnaces employ fans and blowers of various sizes for producing the required draught. Absolutely correct. Small gas turbines are used to drive turbo pumps and generators in underwater vehicles. All the three statements are absolutely correct. Option D is absolutely correct. Next one. Consider the following statements regarding the improvement of Rankine cycle efficiency. Lowering the condenser pressure raises the thermal efficiency of the cycle. Absolutely correct. Raising the boiler pressure and temperature raises the thermal efficiency of the cycle. Absolutely correct. Similarly, raising the steam temperature, that is superheated temperature of the steam, raises the thermal efficiency of the cycle. Absolutely correct. All the three statements are correct. D is absolutely correct. Next, consider the following statements regarding the regenerative cycle. Reheating has limited ability to improve the thermodynamic efficiency of the cycle, but it is quite useful in the reduction of moisture in the turbine. Absolutely correct. It is observed that the largest single loss of energy in a power plant occurs at the condenser in which the heat is rejected to the coolant. Absolutely correct. Reducing the rejected heat drastically improves the cycle efficiency. Absolutely correct. All are absolutely correct. D correct. A steam power plant works on very simple question, Rankine cycle. So these are the questions from, right, one more question. Which one of the following is used to increase the entropy between absolute zero and any given state? The calorimetric data, because no, calorimetry is talking about the heat transfer and temperature. ds equal to del Q by T. So calorimetric data is used for finding the change in entropy with respect to absolute zero state. Option B can be selected. Which one of the following statements is correct if the heat is added to a system at higher temperature? You know, ds equal to del Q by T. The same heat is added at higher temperature, definitely entropy change decreases. The increase in entropy is small when you add the same heat at high temperature. Option B is correct. So these are the questions from thermodynamics part. I hope all of you clearly understood, right? Thank you very much.
Dear ESE aspirants, welcome. So first we'll start the discussion with the subject fluid mechanics and hydraulic machines. So first, the first question, that is 46th question, is from fluid mechanics. Which of the following statement is correct regarding the traction vector on any surface with a general fluid element in motion? So for this question, option C is the answer. Traction vector has two separate contribution, pressure and deformation related forces. Next is question number 47. What does specific gravity of fluid represent? So for this question, option B is the answer. It is the ratio of density of liquid at actual conditions to the density of pure water at 25 degrees centigrade. So option B is the answer for question number 47. Next is question number 48. A cylinder of 0.12 meter radius rotates concentrically inside a fixed hollow cylinder of 0.13 meter radius. Both the cylinders are 0.3 meters long. What is the viscosity of the liquid which fills the space between the cylinders if a torque of 0.88 Newton meter is required to maintain an angular velocity of 2 pi radians? So for this question, dear students, you have to make use of the Newton's law of viscosity, or from that equation you will be writing or deriving the torque equation, that is torque is equal to force into radius, and this force or viscous force can be expressed from the Newton's law of viscosity, that is mu into du by dy into area into radius. So once you substitute all these values, so upon calculation you will be getting an answer as 0.43, so which is not there in the option. Okay, so for 48 question number, the answer is 0.43. Next, question number 49. Consider the following statement regarding the pressure measurement. So for question number 49, so first statement is pressure is usually expressed with reference to absolute zero pressure. Second is absolute pressure is the pressure expressed as a difference between its value and the absolute zero pressure. Statement 3 is when the pressure is expressed as difference between its value and the local atmospheric pressure, it is known as gauge pressure. So question number 49, option D, that is all of the statements are correct. Okay, so moving to next question, that is 50. Consider the following statements regarding the thermal stratification and the Coriolis forces. So statement 1 is thermal stratification refers to the layering of fluid elements that occur due to the density gradient created by the temperature changes, in temperature. And statement 2 is thermally stratified layers can make the flow irrotational from rotational. And statement 3 is an originally irrotational flow may become rotational due to the presence of Coriolis forces. So question number 50, the answer is option C, that is statement 1 and 3 are correct. Next is question number 51. 51 is consider the following statements regarding the flow meters. First one is venturi meter is less accurate than orifice meter. Second is orifice meter is a thin circular plate with a sharp edge concentric circular hole in it. The third statement is the stagnation pressure at the point in the fluid flow is the pressure which could result if the pressure were brought to the rest isentropically. So for 51 question, the answer is option C, that is statement 2 and 3 are correct. Okay. Question number 51 is option C, right. 52. Consider the following statement regarding the dynamics of inviscid flows. So first statement is Euler equation of motion describes the dynamic of inviscid flows, and second statement is flows having tangential velocities with the streamlines as concentric circle are known as plane circular vortex flow. And next is free vortex flow is irrotational vortex flow where the tangential velocity is directly proportional to the radius of the curvature. So for the 52 question, the answer is option B, that is statement 1 and 2 are correct answers. Question number 53, that is the most consider the following statement regarding the turbulent flow. The most important characteristics of turbulent flow is the fact that velocity and pressure at a point fluctuate with time in random. And second statement is turbulence generated and continuously affected by fixed wall is designated as free turbulence. And statement C3 is turbulence generated by two adjacent layers of the fluid in presence of the walls is termed as wall turbulences. So which of the following statements are correct? So in 53, option A, that is statement 1 is only the correct answer. Next, 54, consider the following statements regarding the laminar. So in the 54th question, that is option B, that is statement 1 and 2 are the correct answers. Okay, moving to next one, 55 question number. So 55 question number, that is consider the following statements regarding the correlation function. So correlation studies reveal that turbulent flow is composed of eddies which are convected by the mean motion. And second is the size of the large eddies is comparable with the dimensions of neighboring object and the dimensions of the flow passage. And the option statement 3 is size of the small eddies can be of the order 10 mm to 5 mm. So for 55 question, the answer is option B, that is statement 1 and 2 are the answers. Okay, moving to next question, that is in a fully developed flow, a pipe of 300 mm diameter and the shear stress at the wall is equal to 50 pascals. The Darcy friction factor is 0.05, and what is the rate of flow in case of water flowing through the pipe? So in this here we are required to use the equation, that is F by 4, that is equal to tau naught divided by rho v square into 1 by 2. Okay, so if you solve for v would be equal to root 8, and this, if you solve for discharge, that is q is equal to a times of v, the value will be 0.2 meter cube per second. So once again, this is not matching with the options. So 56th question, even the answer, the numerical value what we get is not matching with the answers. Okay, moving to next question, that is 57. Consider the following statements regarding the friction factor. So for 57th, that is the turbulent flow friction factor depends on both Reynolds number and the roughness of the pipe. This is correct statement. And next is Moody's diagram can be used for predicting the values of friction factor. Yes, even this is a correct statement. And roughness in the commercial pipe is due to the protrusions at the surface which are random both in size and spacing. So all of these statements are correct. That is 57th, option D is the answer. Option D is the answer. Okay, next is 59th question. The critical value of Reynolds number at which the boundary layer changes from laminar to turbulent does not depend on. So 59th question, that is option D, flow velocity. It does not depend on the flow velocity. Option D is the answer. Next is 72. Consider the following statement. Consider the following statement regarding the basic features that characterize lift and the drag. So statement 1 is drag is in the direction of airflow, lift is perpendicular to the direction of airflow, and third statement is lift devices are generally less efficient than the drag devices. So for the 72 questions, option A is the answer, that is statement 1 and 2 are the correct answers. Next is the question from the hydraulic machines, question number 9, that is consider the following statement regarding the impellers of the centrifugal pump. So for this question, option C is the answer, that is statement 2 and 3 are correct. That is semi-enclosed impeller are used when the liquid is pumped contains some solids in suspension, and the open impeller is used to handle the highly solid laden fluids like slurry. Okay, that is option C is the answer for question number 9. Next is for question number 10, that is water jet in propulsion in Pelton wheel has a velocity of 93 meter per second. The rotational speed of the wheel is 600 rpm. The ratio of bucket velocity to the jet velocity is 0.47. What is the diameter of the wheel? So for this question, if you use the formula and do the substitution, option B is the value we get. Okay, that is 1.391 meters. Next is question number 11. The Pelton wheel has a hydraulic efficiency of 87.7% and the coefficient of velocity is 0.97. What is the wheel efficiency of the turbine? So wheel efficiency of the turbine, that is for this question option A, that is 93.2. is the answer. 93.2% is the answer. Okay, moving to next question. Which of the following is defined as ratio of reaction effect, that is energy transfer by static pressure, to the total energy transfer in the rotor? So 12th question, option D, that is, it is the definition for the degree of reaction. Okay, next is question number 13, that is, Francis turbine has a hydraulic efficiency of 95% and mechanical efficiency of 80%. What is the overall efficiency? The overall efficiency, if you put that values in the formula, so answer will be 76%. Okay, question number 13th is option A. Next, question number 14th is Kaplan turbine, the number of blades varies in between from 3 to 8. Option B is the answer for question number 14th. Next, a reciprocating pump is used to pump the water, has a bore of 120 mm, stroke of 220 mm. It runs at a speed of 40 rpm. The delivery pipe is 80 mm in diameter and 30 meters in length. What is the acceleration head without the air vessel? So for this, if you put the values in the given formula of acceleration expression, so you will be getting option D as the answer, that is 13.26. Okay, so these were the questions from the fluid mechanics and hydraulic machines. Let's see the questions from the other subject, that is theory of machines and vibrations. So first question, consider the following statement regarding the forces acting on the mass attached to helical spring, and it is subjected to a oscillating force and there is no damping present. So here to the mass, so there is a harmonic force that is being imposed on the system. So when the mass is subjected to subjected to harmonic force, so there will be an action of inertia force, there will be an action of spring force or restoring force. Along with that, even external force will be there. So external force will be encountered by the internal resistances. So here all the three options, that is option A, that is statement 1, statement 2, statement 3, all of them will be acting on the mass. So option D is the answer for the 91st question, that is from theory of machines and vibrations. Next is a refrigerator unit has a mass of 35 kg, is to be supported by 3 springs having the same stiffness. The natural frequency of the vibration is 15.15 radian per second. The stiffness of each spring is dash. So here the mass is supported on the 3 springs and natural frequency can be written as, so here 3 springs are used, then equivalent stiffness will be 3 times of k. So omega n is equal to 3k by m, and this is 15.15 is whole square equal to 3 times of k divided by mass is equal to 35 kg. So upon solving for k, you will be getting an answer as 2.67 Newton per mm or 22600 approximately Newton meter. So that's 2.7 Newton mm. So option D is the answer. 92, option D is the answer. Let's take question number 93. 93, consider the following statements regarding the whirling of shafts. The bending of shafts depend on the eccentricity of the mass and as also the speed of rotation in which it rotates. So let me write here the expression. So Y, that is amplitude of that is whirl amplitude, which is given by E R square by 1 minus R square. So R is expressed as omega by omega n. So here you can find that dependence of Y on E as well as on omega. Okay, so statement 1 is correct. Statement 1 is correct. That is in 93 question. And next is whirling speed is a speed at which the shaft does not vibrate. No, it is going to vibrate violently. It is going to vibrate violently. So statement 2 is wrong. So you have to check the options. You have to eliminate the options which is containing statement 2. So option A, C and D are containing statement 2. So straight away you can select option B as an answer. Okay. Next is consider the following statement regarding the gear terminology. So rack is a part of wheel which is having infinite radius. And next statement, module is expressed as the ratio of number of teeth to pitch diameter. So module is actually diameter by number of teeth. So which you have to eliminate the options which is containing statement 2. So option A is containing statement 2, option C is containing statement 2, option D is also containing. So option B is the answer in that case. Option B is the answer. Okay. Next is, consider the following statement regarding the interference of involute gears. So mating of two non-conjugate teeth is known as interference. Yes, it is correct answer. If any of the two surfaces is not an involute, the two surfaces would not touch each other tangentially, and the transition and the transmission of power would not take proper. Any of the two surfaces, if it is non-involute, if it is not involute, so transmission of power is going to be compromised. So even this statement is also correct. Next is common tangent. Common normal is also a common tangent to two base circles, and it does not pass through pitch point. It has to pass through pitch point, only then the relative motion will be transferred continuously and at a constant ratio when it passes through the pitch point. So statement 3 is a wrong answer. So you have to eliminate the options which are containing statement 3. Okay, so for question number 95, yeah, option A is the answer, which is containing statement 1 and 2. Okay, next is question number 96, that is consider the following statement regarding the terminology of worm gear. It is a single helix and the axial pitch is equal to lead. Yes, this is a correct statement. And next is lead angle is an angle at which the teeth are inclined to the normal to the axis of rotation. Okay, so this is the definition of lead angle. Even this is correct. In case of worm gears, yeah, summation of lead angle and helix angle, that is equal to 90 degrees. That is equal to 90 degrees. Okay, so now here there is a possibility that lead angle could be small, but helix angle approaching to 0 is not at all possible. So option C or statement C is incorrect. So check the options which is containing statement C. So B, C and D are wrong ones, and only option A is containing the statement 1 and 2. So for 96th question, option A is the answer. Moving to next question, what happens to the motion of the piston in the crank slider mechanism when the length of connecting rod is very, very large? So for this expression, that is the displacement of the piston has to be written first of all. So that is given by x is equal to L plus R minus R cos theta plus L cos beta. Okay, so here if I pull out R as common, so this will be n plus 1 minus of R is common, so this will be cos theta, and this is L by R, which is nothing but n only. Okay, and cos beta can be written as, that is sin theta or sin beta is equal to sin theta by n. So the beta is the angle of connecting rod and theta is the crank angle. All right, so if you write it in terms of cosine, then this becomes as cosine of beta is equal to root over n square minus sine square theta whole divided by n, it would be. Okay, so this cos beta can be expressed as root over n square minus sine square theta whole divided by n. So now n and n will get cancelled, and this is this value, the value of n is very, very large because connecting rod is very, very large. So this expression becomes as R into n plus 1 minus of cos theta, and this will completely become as equal to n only. So n and n will get cancelled. Okay, so R will be equal to 1 minus of cos theta. So if connecting rod length is very, very large, then the motion of piston becomes simple harmonic. Okay, so that is option B is the answer for this question. Okay. All right, next question, that is question number 116. Consider the following statement regarding the kinematic pair according to nature of contact. The shaft rotating in the bearing is an example of lower pair. This is an example of cylindrical pair, so it is lower pair. It is a lower pair, so this is a correct answer. And next is universal joint is an example of higher pair. So universal joint is going to consist of two cylindrical blocks which are at 90 degrees, and into these two blocks the pins will be inserted. So when you are inserting the pin into these cylindrical block, obviously it is going to develop a surface contact. So universal pair cannot be taken as an higher pair, it's a lower pair. So this statement, that is statement 2, is wrong. Let's check the option which is containing the statement 2. So option A is containing statement 2, this is wrong. Option C is containing 2, and even option D is also containing. So for this question number 116, the answer is only statement 1 and 3, that is option B is the answer. Okay. Next is question number 7117, that is degree of freedom of a linkage having 11 links and 4 loops. So degree of freedom for this. So degree of freedom for this is given by F is equal to, that is n minus of 2l plus 4 it would be, or 2l plus 1, sorry. 2l plus 1. So n is equal to 11 and this is 2 into 4 plus 1. So this will be 11 minus 9, which is equal to 2. Degree of freedom will be equal to 2. That is option B is the answer. Next is, which one of the following turning pair of 4-bar mechanism is replaced by a sliding pair, then it is known as. So if one of the turning pair is replaced with the sliding pair, then it becomes a crank slider mechanism. So option B is the answer, which is 3R1P mechanism. Okay. Next is, consider the following statement regarding the Coriolis acceleration. So first statement is, Coriolis acceleration is the component that is positive if the link is rotating in clockwise. So if the link is rotating in clockwise and the slider is moving outwards, so the Coriolis acceleration will be pointing towards positive x-axis. Okay, this will be the direction of Coriolis acceleration. So is the statement 1 is correct, and statement 2, that is, it is positive if both angular velocity and linear velocity are either positive or negative. So Coriolis acceleration is basically expressed as cross product of two vectors, that is omega cap cross that is v cap, omega cap cross v cap. So now if both the vectors are negative, still Coriolis acceleration will be positive. If both are positive, even then also the Coriolis acceleration will be positive. So if any of the vectors is negative, anyone is negative, then the direction will change. Okay, statement 2 is also correct. Next is statement 3, that is Coriolis acceleration component is not dependent on the angular velocity. No, it is dependent on the angular velocity as well as on the direction of angular velocity. On both the things it is dependent. So statement C is wrong. So eliminate the options which is containing statement 3, that is B is wrong, D is wrong and C is wrong. Option A is containing statement 1 and 2. So option A is the answer for question number 119. Next is question number 150. Consider the following statement regarding the forced vibration. The forced vibration is generally caused by some periodic applied force present in the machine tool, such as from the gear drives. Yes, the periodic force when it is imposed on the system, that is f of t is equal to f sine omega t, or a rotating force is imposed by when we give the angular motion to the some rotor or some disc. If it is given, then the rotating force will be imposed in it. So option that is statement 1 is correct. Next is, amplitude of vibration can be increased or decreased. Can be increased by increasing the stiffness and damping of the system. So here if you go for the amplitude expression, amplitude is expressed as external force, magnitude of external force divided by k minus m omega square whole square plus c omega square. So we are finding the dependency of stiffness and the damping in a reciprocal way. So both are inversely proportional to the amplitude. Okay, next is, the basic solution of the forced vibration is to isolate and remove the forcing element. Yes, so it is better to isolate the system or remove the forcing element. So for question number 150, that is option 1, statement 1 and 3 are correct. Okay, statement 2 is incorrect, because if you increase the stiffness and damping, then the amplitude will be suppressed. Okay, so for question number 150, that is option 1 and option 3, that is option C. Sorry, statement 1 and statement 3, that is option C is the answer. So these were the questions from the subject theory of machines and vibrations. So I'll hand over the session to next faculty.
Yes. Now let us take the power plant engineering questions. Look at the first one. Consider the following statements regarding gas turbine power plant. If the gas turbine plant is used in an aircraft engine, the net power output at the turbine shaft is used to drive the propeller of the turboprop engine. Absolutely correct. In a simple open cycle gas turbine plant, the hot gases from the combustion chamber pass out to the atmosphere after expanding through the turbine. Absolutely correct. In a closed circuit gas turbine plant, the same working fluid circulates through its various components. Absolutely correct. All are correct. 1, 2, 3 correct. Option D is correct. Option D is absolutely correct. Okay. Next one. Consider the following statements regarding the propulsion devices. Thermal efficiency of an engine is defined as the ratio of useful work done by the thrust to energy supplied to the engine. First one correct. Propulsive efficiency is defined as the ratio of useful work done by the thrust to the kinetic energy. No, the propulsive efficiency is the ratio between the thrust power and propulsive power. Third statement, the overall efficiency of a propulsive device is defined as the ratio of useful work done by the thrust to the energy supplied to the engine. Third statement correct. 1 and 3 correct. Option B is absolutely correct. Similarly, consider the following statements regarding the ramjet engine. In a ramjet engine, the pressure rise in the engine is wholly due to pulse effect. No, pulse effect is developed in the pulse jet engine, not in the ramjet engine. On account of the options of the turbine and compressor in ramjet engine, high temperature in the order of 2000 degrees centigrade can be employed in the combustion chamber. Absolutely correct, because there is no moving parts, there is no sensitive parts. Ramjet engine is an ideal propulsion hypersonic aircraft. Absolutely correct. 2 and 3 are correct. Look at the C, not C. 2 and 3 are correct. Option C might be correct. Option C is correct. Next, consider the following statements regarding the pulse jet engine. Pulse jet engine is a thrust producing device without turbine and compressor. Correct. In the combustion chamber of a pulse jet engine, the fuel rich mixture is employed by spark plug. Correct. The frequency of explosion in pulse jet engine is as high as 10 per second. Absolutely correct. All the 3 statements are correct. D can be selected. Next, consider the following statements regarding the compressors. A centrifugal compressor like a pump is a head or pressure producing device. Absolutely correct. Performance wise, centrifugal compressors is less efficient than axial flow compressor because the pressure rise per stage of the axial flow compressor is less. Second statement correct. Centrifugal type compressor is suitable for high specific speed, low pressure ratio and high mass flow rate. Absolutely correct. All the 3 statements are correct. Look at the D. D is absolutely correct. Consider the following statements regarding the condenser. Vacuum efficiency is defined as the ratio of maximum obtainable vacuum to the actual vacuum. No, it is the ratio between the actual vacuum and the maximum vacuum. First statement not correct. Consider the condenser efficiency is defined as the ratio of the difference between the outlet and inlet temperature of the cooling water to difference between the temperature corresponding to the vacuum in the condenser and inlet temperature of water. Absolutely correct. The deaeration of feed water helps both in maintaining better vacuum in the condenser and controlling the corrosion of the steel shell and piping of the steel power plant. Absolutely correct. 2 and 3 are correct. Look at the option C. Option C is absolutely correct. If the boilers are designed to operate above the critical pressure, then the boilers are known as once-through boilers. Option A is correct. Example is Benson boiler, Ramsden boiler. Next, which one of the following is the method of reducing turbine blade speed for given overall pressure drop? It is very easy question, compounding. Right. Next, in which of the following type of condensers does exhaust steam coming out from the turbine is directly mixing with the circulating cooling water? That is called direct mixing condenser, is also called jet condenser. Consider the following statements regarding the cooling towers. Cooling tower is a wooden or metallic rectangular structure. No, generally cooling towers are with hyperbolic structure. First statement not correct. The hot water is delivered to the top of the tower and falls down through the tower and is broken into small particles while passing over the baffle devices. Absolutely correct. The hot water falls down into a tank below the tower from where it can again be circulated in the compressor. 2 and 3 are correct. Look at the C. Option C is absolutely correct. Next. Consider, correct? Yes, correct. Consider the following statements regarding the location of cooling tower. The tower site should be such that it allows unrestricted airflow to the tower. Absolutely correct. Open space as far as possible should be allowed between the cooling tower, lowers and nearby structures. Absolutely correct. The tower should be located in such a way that the piping running to and from its minimum. Absolutely correct. All the 3 statements are correct. Look at the D. D is absolutely correct. In which one of the following type of system is the water drawn directly from the upstream side of a river, pumped through the condenser and is discharged to the downstream side of the river at the temperature 5 degrees centigrade to 10 degrees centigrade in excess of inlet temperature? That is called open or once through system. These are the questions from power plant engineering. Now look at the refrigeration and air conditioning questions. No questions from air conditioning, only questions asked from 4 questions asked from refrigeration. Look at the first one. Which one of the following is not an assumption of the standard vapor compression cycle? Compressor is isentropic, that is the required assumption. Heat rejection is isentropic. No, heat rejection should be happening isobarical at constant pressure. So this is the incorrect statement. Incorrect statement is our option. B is our option. Incorrect statement. It is asking which is not the assumption. That's why B is incorrect statement. That incorrect statement is our option. Okay. Similarly, R22 refrigerant is compressed in a centrifugal compressor from 3 bar to 12 bar. The small stage efficiency is, small stage efficiency means the small stage efficiency is measured in terms of polytropic efficiency. Assume that the small stage efficiency and isentropic efficiency of the compressor are same. The isentropic index of vapor, isentropic index is marked with gamma given 1.10. Don't take 1.4. Gamma equal to 1.4 for only diatomic gas like atmospheric air, but it is given for R22. What is the polytropic index for the vapor? Here it is given stage efficiency or polytropic efficiency equal to 0.28. You are asked to decide the polytropic index. As you know, the polytropic efficiency equal to gamma minus 1 by gamma into n by n minus 1. You substitute here polytropic efficiency given and the gamma value given. Substitute here for getting the n value. Right? You can get 1.128 something. That is the answer. A equal to 1.128. Option D is absolutely correct. Okay? Right. Similarly, look at the next one. In case of azeotropes, from the performance point of view, it is considerable, it is desirable, not considerable, to have refrigerant mixture with 0 temperature glide so that dew point temperature equal to bubble point temperature. Absolutely correct. Option A itself is absolutely correct. Next, in a vapor absorption refrigeration system, which one of the following statements is correct regarding the effect of aqua ammonia mixture instead of pure ammonia entering the evaporator? Evaporator temperature remains constant, refrigeration effect is increased, coefficient of performance decreased. Absolutely correct. When the water vapor is allowed to the or entering to the condenser along with the refrigerant vapor, right? Definitely the performance of the system decreases. Option C can be selected. Okay. So these are the questions from refrigeration. Now look at the IC engines part. Which one of the following does not promote knocking in SI engine? Right? High compression ratio, power, poor cylinder cooling, optimum mixture strength, retard ignition timing. Which one of the following does not promote knocking in SI engine? Optimum mixture strength does not promote the knocking in SI engine. C can be selected. Similarly, in SI engines, the performance number is useful measure of thermal efficiency? No. Mechanical efficiency? No. Indicated power? Absolutely correct. So the performance number is useful for measuring in terms of indicated power. Next. The performance number of an SI engine, spark ignition engine, is obtained on a specified engine under specified set of conditions by varying the inlet pressure, no. Inlet temperature, no. Compression ratio, absolutely correct. C is absolutely correct. Similarly, the engine in which the combination of 3 opposite piston engines with 3 crankshafts interlinked to one another is called delta type engine. Option D is absolutely correct. An engine with 50 kilowatts power has a mechanical efficiency 75%. Here power given, power equal to 50 kilowatts. With a mechanical efficiency is given 0.75. If the frictional power is assumed to be constant with the load, what is the mechanical efficiency at 50% of the load? At 50% of the load, you are asked to decide the mechanical efficiency. First you decide assume this is the brake power. Then mechanical efficiency equal to BP by IP. BP by IP can be written as BP plus frictional power. From this you decide the frictional power. You may be getting around 16.67 kilowatts. Since it is given the frictional power remains constant, then the mechanical efficiency at 50% load. 50% load means 50% power equal to 25 BP by, right, BP, otherwise let me write the formula. BP1 I can write, it is BP1 by BP1 plus frictional power. For 50% load, the BP1 is 50% of the given power. Half of the given power is 25. 25 divided by 25 plus 16.67 multiply with 100 for getting in percentage, you can get 60%. That is the answer. Look at the option C. Option C is absolutely correct. Okay. Similarly, which of the following sources contribute majorly for the formation of hydrocarbon emission in spark ignition engine? Option is crevices. Option A is absolutely correct. Next, indicated specific fuel consumption of a 4-stroke SI engine improves at a faster rate with increase in compression ratio than the brake specific fuel consumption because both friction and heat losses are increasing with increase in compression ratio. Option B is absolutely correct. Okay. Next, the advancement of peak cylinder pressures ahead of top dead center in an SI engine due to pre-ignition. Because of the pre-ignition, pressure on the piston increases, therefore negative work is going to increase. Option A is absolutely correct. Similarly, which one of the following is not a primary fuel? Peat is not the primary fuel. Option B is absolutely correct. Next, match the following list for different types of calorimeters which are used to determine calorific value. Solid and liquid fuels, only solid fuels, only gaseous fuels. Under list 2, bomb calorimeter. Bomb calorimeter for solid and liquid fuels. To find the calorific value of solid and liquid fuels, you are using the bomb calorimeter. So P1 correct. And for gaseous fuels, Junker's gas calorimeter, right? P1 correct, R3 correct, therefore Q2 correct. So option is P1, Q2 and R3. 1, 2, 3. Look at the B. Option B is absolutely correct. Okay. These are the questions from IC engines. Now let us look at the heat transfer questions. Look at the question given from the heat transfer. At the surface of electric heater, the heat flux means heat transfer per unit area. Heat flux Q equal to heat transfer per unit area given 5,000 watts per meter square. Should be very careful with the units. The heater temperature is 130 degrees centigrade. The heater temperature TH1 130 degrees centigrade. When it is cooled by air. Here air temperature given 50 degrees centigrade. What is the heater temperature if the power is reduced so that the heat flux is 2500? Let us assume this is the Q1. The second case, heat flux Q2 given 2500 watts per meter square. You are asked to decide what is the heater temperature in the second case. TH2 is how much? You know, the heat transfer Q equal to HA into delta T, that is heater temperature minus air temperature. From this Q by A equal to heat flux. Heat transfer per unit area is the heat flux, that is equal to H into TH minus TA. In the first case, for the first case, you take the Q1 equal to H into TH1 minus TA because atmosphere temperature remains same. From this, you first decide the H value. That is the heat transfer coefficient, convective heat transfer coefficient. Then for the second case, Q2 equal to Q2, this is the heat flux in the second case. That is not the capital Q, that should be the small q. That should be a small q. Small q2 equal to H into TH2 minus air temperature. Since this is the temperature difference, you can substitute either in degree centigrade or Kelvin, right? Already you got the H value here. You substitute here for getting the heater temperature in the second case. Your calculator will show that, right? Otherwise you simplify it for getting the heater temperature 90 degrees centigrade. Option D is absolutely correct. Easy question only, but quite lengthy question, right? Similarly, look at the next one. For real bodies, the emittance and monochromatic emittance, right, are related by. So this is the relation between the red emittance and monochromatic emittance. Option C is absolutely correct. Similarly, which one of the following represents the laminar flow with respect to Rayleigh's number? For the laminar flow, the range of the Rayleigh's number is 10 power 4 to 10 power 9. Option C can be selected. Similarly, a wire is submerged horizontally in a water at 5 bar with a saturation temperature of 150 degrees centigrade. The wire length is 250 mm and the diameter is 2 mm. Wire length is given, diameter is given. The wire carries a current of 100 amperes with applied voltage 2.5 volts. If the surface of the wire is maintained at 200 degrees centigrade, what is the boiling heat transfer coefficient? You are asked to decide boiling heat transfer coefficient. Same formula what I have taken for the previous, for the very first question. For the very question we have taken the formula Q equal to HA into delta T, right? Delta T, 1 minute. Should be very careful while we are discussing in the limited space. Here it should be the delta T, right? From this, no, Q equal to what? Q equal to voltage into I. This must be equal to H into A into delta T. From this H equal to VI by A into delta T. V equal to what? 2.5 volts multiplied by current which is in amperes. Current which is in amperes is 100 dividing by the area pi dl. Area equal to pi dl. This is the formula for area, surface area. Pi d. Look at the d value. D value given 2 mm, but it should be taken in mm. 0.002 meters. L value given 250 millimeters. That is equal to 0.25. This is the A value. You substitute that A value here. And delta T. Look at the delta T. Right? Here wire temperature is maintained 200 and saturated temperature 150. 200 minus 150. You simplify this value by putting this A value here. For getting the H value, value, right? You will get, right, 10,000 dividing by pi watts per meter square. So therefore, option C is absolutely correct. Okay. Similarly, look at the next one. fouling inside the pipes of a heat exchanger increases with which one of the following fluid properties? Decrease in temperature and increase in velocity? No. Increase in temperature and decrease in velocity. Absolutely correct. Option B is absolutely correct. Similarly, a pyramid is having a square base and isosceles triangle side surfaces. What are the view factors? F from the base of the pyramid. Consider the pyramid base as surface 1 and remaining sides are 2, 3, 4 and 5 respectively. Fij represents view factor for the surfaces I and J. Then you are asked to decide the relation, right? The relation is, the relation here it is, right? Which one can be? The relation is option B, right? This is the relation between the factors which are given, V factors which are given. Option B is absolutely correct. Option B is correct. Similarly, look at the next one. Not option B, sorry, 1 minute. This is option D. Option D is absolutely correct. Option D is absolutely correct. Similarly, look at the next one. A thermal contact conductance of 10,000 watts per meter square degree centigrade was measured at the interface of 1 centimeter thickness aluminum plates with a thermal conductivity 237 watts per meter degree centigrade at room temperature. What is the thickness of the aluminum plate whose thermal resistance is equal to thermal resistance of the interface between the plates? It is asking it is asking what is the thickness of the aluminum plate. The thickness of the aluminum plate, L equal to simply K by H. Thermal conductivity, right, 237 dividing by the heat transfer coefficient 10,000. You simplify it for getting the answer, which is in meters. It may be giving 0.0237 meters. But look at the options. Options are given in centimeters. Multiply with 100 for getting in centimeters, 2.37 centimeters. So option B is absolutely correct. So these are the questions from heat transfer. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hello guys, now we see the solutions for engineering mechanics and strength of material. Now coming to the first question. What is extension of a tapered bar, guys? Like if you check this one, the stand of question is a tapered bar is there. There is a load P is given. And this is having a diameter D1, having a diameter D2, the length is L. What is the extension? Stand question, guys. Delta L equal to how much? PL by AE, right? PL by A become how much? Pi by 4 D1 to D2 into E, guys. It become how much? 4 PL by pi D1, which means option A is the correct answer, guys. I hope this is clear. Coming to second question. Consider the following regarding the thermal stress, guys. if the temperature change is uniform throughout the body, then thermal strain is also uniform. Absolutely correct. Next, if the deformation is permitted to occur freely, which means there is a free expansion or contraction, guys, then no internal forces will be developed. Absolutely correct. And there will be no strain and no stress. No, there is no stress is okay. I agree with that. But there is a strain exists, guys. Alpha T strain exists. Next, coming to thought statement, if the deformation of the body is restricted, here he is having a restricted deformation, guys, then either totally or partially internal forces will be developed that will be oppose the thermal expansion or contraction. The stresses induced by the three are known as thermal stress. Absolutely correct, guys. Here 2 is wrong. If you eliminate the 2, guys, then right answer here is only 1 and 3 only. Option C is the correct one, guys. Coming to third one, the bending moment that tends to bend the beam to produce convexity upward. This is the convexity upward, guys. Convexity upward means it is called what type of bending moment, guys? Hogging bending moment. I hope this is clear. Next, the type of bending that occurs between two supports of an overhang beam. The simple question, guys. This is the overhang beam, and there is the point loads are acting, guys. Then if you transfer the load, what happens here to the center section between the support section? What happened? P and moment, guys, because this P is balanced by the ground support, this P is balanced by the ground support. Only M will give you, guys. Only M is present means only bending moment exists, and there is no shear force. Only bending moment, there is no shear force means what does it mean exactly? It is called pure bending. It is called pure bending, guys. Now coming to this one, a seamless pipe means jointless pipe, guys, of 80 centimeter diameter contains a fluid under a pressure he has given, guys. If the possible tensile stress is 1000, then what is the minimum thickness of the pipe? Direct hoop stress question, guys. What the hoop stress equal to? PD by how much? 2T. This should be maximum how much, guys? 1000. No need to convert to the units, guys. 1000. Now P how much is given? 20. Diameter how much, guys? 80 centimeter diameter by 2T equal to 1000, guys. Substitute, you get the answer 0.8 centimeters, guys. Now coming to this question, consider the following statements regarding the center of gravity and centroid, guys. Centroid of an area doesn't lie on the axis of symmetry if it exists. No, centroid lies on the axis of symmetry if it exists. So first statement is wrong. If the first statement is wrong, guys, A, C, D can be eliminated. Directly option B is the correct answer, guys. Next, question number 86. Consider the following statement regarding the beams. Propped cantilever beam is a beam with one end is fixed, other end is just simply support. Yes, absolutely correct. Next, overhanging beam is the beam with projections beyond the support. Yes, this is also absolutely correct, guys. Which of the statements are correct, guys? Both 1 and 2 are correct. Next, a circular steel pipe is used as a simply supported beam or an effective span of 2 if the maximum bending moment carrying a capacity is 2261 is given. Maximum bending moment is given. Then what is the maximum center load that can be carried by at the mid span? Direct question, guys. This is a simply supported beam. There is a load P is given. Support reaction how much, guys? P by 2. So L by 2, guys. What is the maximum bending moment equal to how much, sir? Mmax equal to PL by 4. This value is given as how much? 2.26 kilonewton meter. Then he's asking what is the P equal to how much? Substitute L equal how much is given 2. So you're going to get 2 by 4 means 2 I'm going to get 4.52 kilonewtons, guys. Which means that option D is the correct one. Now coming to last question. A piece of copper originally 305 mm long is pulled tension with a stress of 276. As given stress, length is given. Then if the deformation enter elastic, what is the resultant elongation equal to how much? Only elongation is asking, sir. From Hooke's law, stress equal how much? E into strain. Strain means change in length by original length. Change in length equal to how much, guys? Sigma L by E. Now substitute these values, sir. Sigma means how much has given. Take care of all the units and all, guys. You directly substitute this formula. You're going to get 0.77 mm, guys. Now this is the questions from engineering mechanics. What is the centroid on the line of symmetry from the center distance of a quarter circle? So it's a quarter circle, guys. Centroid formula is on direct formula, guys. 4r by 3 pi is the centroid formula for this one. Next, if a particle has an initial velocity as given, he has given the initial velocity and initial displacement is given and initial velocity to the right he has given, sir. Then what is the position, what is the displacement when time t equal to 10 seconds, a equal 2 meters per second to the left he has given. This is the only clue he has to understand, guys. Now what the formula? Displacement asking s equal to ut plus half at square. Standard formula, SWAT equation, guys. U, initial velocity how much is given? 12. Time, at what time, guys? 10 seconds. And here, minus I am writing. Why minus I am taking, guys? 2 meters per second square to the left he has given. Velocity to the right, and it is a left, guys. That's why I am taking the minus, guys. 2 into 10 square, 100, sir. So coming as 120 minus 100, the answer equal to 20, guys. Option A is the correct one. Next, consider the following statement regarding the law of friction. The magnitude of the limiting friction bears a constant ratio to the normal reaction. Yes, sir. Because F equal to mu into N, guys. So F by N equal to mu. So definitely, sir, is a constant. First one is correct. The force of friction is independent of area. Absolutely correct, sir. It is independent of area. Just depends upon the nature of the surface in contact, guys. 1 and 2 are correct. Next, the force of friction does not depend on smoothness. No, sir. Friction surface depends upon what exactly? Surface roughness itself. So 3 is the wrong statement. Only 1 and 2, guys. Option A is the correct one. Next, the gun is designed such that on firing, the barrel recoils against a spring. Then a dash spot at the end of the recoil, guys, allows the barrel to come back to the initial position with a minimum time without any oscillation. The gun barrel has a mass he has given, and the stiffness of the spring is given. The barrel recoils, distance it has traveled is given, guys. What is the initial recoil velocity? Very simple, sir. Initially, it is having initial kinetic energy, guys. Kinetic energy equal to potential energy of the spring. That's it. Direct formula, sir. Just conservation of energy, sir. What is the initial kinetic energy formula? Half mv square must be equal to half kx square. So which means that v equal to how much, guys? Half of getting cancelled. Square root of k by m into x. Just substitute, guys. Square, take care of the units. K, how much is given, sir? 300 Newton per mm means 300 into 10 cube Newton per meter by m. M is how much, guys? 500 kg. Into x is how much has given? 1. That equal to square root of 600, guys, which means that 24.5. The right answer here is option B is the right answer, guys. I hope this is clear for you. Thank you.
Mic voice okay. So, hello everyone. So now we will discuss the detailed solution concerned to the mechatronics and robotics, right? So here, as we see, concerned to the set D, right? So we have a nearly, I can say, the 15 questions are came from the both mechatronics and robotics, right? So among these 15 questions, we have the 4 questions from the robotics and remaining concerned to the mechatronics, right? So this is the weightage concerned to the same, right? The question numbers are given from the 123 to and 135, 145 and 146, right? So here we have a few questions from robotics as well as mechatronics, I can say, right? So here, if you see the first question, whatever they were asked, how many binary coded decimals numbers can be accommodated in 8-bit register in the 8085 microprocessor, right? So this question is basically concerned to the fundamental concepts of the microprocessor, right? So here 8085, which is nothing but what it's in a series of microprocessor, right? So here 8-bit register, right? So here 8085 represents the 8-bit register. It can hold 8-bit only, right? So here BCD, which is nothing but what is already we know that binary coded decimal, right? So here so here 8 bits in this you can store the 2 digits, I can say, right? So that means here each binary coded decimal can store, I can say, 4 bits, right? So with that we can say that the answer is option B, right? So next one, if we see we have the question from the robotics, I can say. So where we have in which of the following robots it's a position the wrist through 2 rotations, they're asking the 2 rotations and 1 linear actuation, right? So in the classification of the concepts related to the robots according to the mechanical structure, I can say, right? So where we have seen the various types, and that we have discussed the same thing, right? So here from this question we can say that the answer is that the polar coordinate configuration, right? So the same thing we have seen in case of the detailed diagram as well as the basic features concerned to the question also, right? So where in concerned to the polar coordinate configuration, we are going to get 2 rotary motions as well as 1 linear motion. The same thing we have seen here, 2 rotary motions as well as 1 linear motion. The correct answer concerned this question is that option, I can say, D, right? Okay. Good. So here if you see the next question we have, right? So in a system's peripherals input and output becomes essential if the memory requirement is, right? So which is the correct answer concerned to this question? We have a option A, that is 64K, right? So next, if we have a question, we have the basic question from the fundamental concept of this actuators we have. A dial gauge is used to measure the pressure in a vessel. The readings are given concerned to the 7 kilonewtons per meter square at the dial reading of 0, and we have a 31 kilonewton per meter square for the reading of 120. And if the variation is linear, then what is the value of the pressure for the dial reading of 90, right? So basic for fundamental way of concepts. So from this we can calculate the value of the pressure for the dial reading of 90, I can say, right? So here if you use the concept of, I can say that linear, here we can use the linear interpolation. From that we can calculate the value of the pressure, which is nothing but what, 25 kilonewton per meter square, right? So that is fundamental concept, I can say, and that detailed solution we can find in the solution, right? So after that we have the question is concerned to the LVDT accelerometer, right? So the question is belongs to the statements, I can say, consider the following statements regarding the LVDT, that is linear variable differential transformer. So where we have the first statement says that it has a low natural frequency, and the second statement says that no errors occurs due to the moving context, right? And it is used for low frequency measurements. And which of the above statements are correct? So they are asking the same. So from this concept we know that 2 and 3 are the correct statements, right? And the first is incorrect. So from that we can say that the option C is the correct this concern to this question, I can say, right? So next one we have option what we have, next question we have related to, I can say, the sensor. Which one of the following is an analog input device, right? So here the analog device we have the potentiometer is a correct one, I can say, right? Remaining 3 whatever we have, so which are related to digital devices, right? So next we have the question, which one of the following devices is used for the switching AC voltages and acts as a two-way SCR with the one gate connected at the output unit, which is nothing but what? It's in a triac output unit, right? So that is the answer concerned to this question, right? So next one we have again a very fundamental question concerned to the usage of the fluid mechanics also we can solve very easily, right? So here what is the force is needed to apply to piston of 2 centimeter radius is given in order to result a force of 8,000 newtons at the working piston of radius is 8 centimeter, right? So from the basic use of the Pascal law we can use the formula, as we know that from the fundamentals we can calculate the answer is the 500 newtons, right? All right. So let's move to the next question, I can say. So here we have the question concerned to the actuator, right? So where the question is belongs to the various components in the hydraulics actuators. So the question says that the filter at the pump outlet, which can be remove the contaminants passing through or generated by a pump in order to protect the walls, is known as, right? So the same thing concept we have seen in the case of here the filter concept. So if you recall the same thing from that we have various seen along with the basic diagram. So from this we can say that the correct option concerned to this question we have the pressure line filter, right? So that is a concern to the question, right? All right. So the correct answer for previous question is the answer B for Bombay, right? So here is the answer is the pressure line filter seconds, right? All right. So let's move to the further question, I can say, right? So here the question is given concern to the image processing. So consider the following statements regarding the color detection, right? So for this question we have the answer is that option 1 and 2 are the statements correct, and the third is incorrect, right? So with that, with respect to that one, the option A is the correct one, right? So next question we have, So the next question we have 133, so which is a current flowing in a conductor such as a beam is deflected by a magnetic field. This effect we are going to call. So the various options are given. So this we have discussed the same thing in the case of mechatronics. There is a sensor chapter I can say that is related to all effect sensor I can say, right? So the correct option concerned to this question we have option A, right? So this is a concept we have seen. Right. So the next question we have concerned to the direction control valves I can say, right? So which is related to the actuators chapters I can say. So DCV, direction control valve, as a processing element that can be generate or it can cancels and redirect these signals depending upon the desired control conditions and process the element is normally known as, right? So we have seen various types of valves in that we have gone through the direction control valves I can say. So in that we have discussed the basic definition, right? So which are simply we can say that logic valves. DCVs are nothing but what? Logic valves I can say, right? The correct option concerned to this question we have option C, right? All right. So the next question we have right. So for this question we have an answer is a logic valve, right? So the same thing we have discussed in the concept, right? So let's move to the next question, right? So we have a next question we have a which one of the following is an application of the continuous path robot. Right? This also we have discussed the same thing. So we have the various types of robots types, I can say, based on the movement of the path, right? So we have the point-to-point robot and as well as the continuous path, right? So here, concerned to this question, whatever they are asking that, so regarding that, the correct answer is the option B is the correct one, I can say, right? So let's move to the next question. So we have seen the same various things in the concept of precision movement also, right? So point-to-point robot, all the things we have discussed, right? So as we move to the next question, we have consider the following statements regarding the measurement standards. So here we have the two statements, so which are related to basically, I can say, the precision movement of the robot, right? So the first statement is related to the resolution definition they are given, right? And the second statement question is second statement concern is that related to the precision, I can say, right? So here both statements are correct. So the option B, option D is the option D is the correct one, I guess, right? That means both statement 1 as well as statement 2 both are correct, right? So the same definitions we have seen in the case of precision movement also, right? So regarding the same thing, right? All right. So the next question we have, the consider the following basic elements of the flexible manufacturing system, right? So in order to be a flexible manufacturing system, so we have all the three elements. So the correct answer concerned to this question we have option D is the correct one, right? So these are the concern to the questions related to the mechatronics and robotics. Thank you.